Of all the taxes that we collect statewide, on all levels, state and local, the property tax represents 40% of all the taxes that we collect in the state. And, you know, why is that a problem? Well, first of all, when we set up a system where every town's only source of revenue is a property tax, a lot of bad things happen, right? Towns are in a constant chase to grow their grand list, increase property tax revenues to keep up with costs. That in turn leads to bad decisions, development decisions at the local level in many cases. Looking for the next big development, even if it may not be in the best long-term interests of the town. It's a drag there also on economic development. Most businesses will tell you that it's not the corporate tax or the income tax necessarily that drives their tax decisions in terms of coming to the state or not. Usually it's the property tax. So how do you attack that property tax? Create efficiencies at the local level that can help towns and cities reduce their costs so they don't have to rely as heavily on the property tax to support their cost of doing business. Good policy for good economic development require coordination of a whole host of policy areas, whether it be tax policy, housing policy, transportation policy, environmental policy. They all had to be coordinated if we were ever going to come up with a development that's appropriate, that grows the state, but does so in a way that doesn't damage any one of those areas, particularly the environment. If we don't have common ways of speaking a language about the cost of local government, there's no way to actually know whether someone's doing something efficiently or not. Towns and boards of ed across the state right now are already supplying the data so that by the end of this year and into next, we're going to actually have a way of comparing how local governments are spending their money, how boards of ed are spending their money. We can form a common region, a surrogate, if you will, for county governments. Every other state does this on a county basis. Because we don't have a county form of government, this becomes somewhat of the surrogate for counties. And that's ultimately what the regional planning agencies are going to be taking the lead on, being the surrogate for what other states consider to be done on a county level. What we're talking about is having one contract that covers multiple towns. I believe that this is the time. Now is the time to do this because coming out of the recession, state government and local government, we've all been trimming our sails, trimming the fat tremendously over the course of the last 3 years. We've had to. We have no choice. And there's no better time to look at overall tax policy changes and reforms than when your government is leanest.